Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new, karibu, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for always making time to come and be with me.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? If I seem a little sleepy, it's because I am. It's been a very long day and it's hot.
Yeah, it's
So
very hot. Like, what? Yeah, I feel like I'm in my hometown back in Kenya, which was a coastal town. It was very hot. But the good thing is the house has AC and we have fans in every room.
Yes, and cold water.
Yeah, and cold water that has ice. So we just have to hydrate. So we want to recap Mikey being accepted into preschool.
Pre-K, yeah.
Preschool. It's pre-K.
Yeah.
Oh no, pre-kindergarten, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pre-K is pre-kindergarten.
Yeah.
Yes. Mikey being accepted into pre-kindergarten. Pre-K. We need to do a drum roll for that. So, you've already watched Mikey going to daycare and the whole daycare fiasco. And when we were going through the daycare fiasco, we knew about pre-K. But we thought that we cannot be able to get in because from what I was reading, it's mostly for the low income earners. Like, you must be like on the lower side of poverty, living under the poverty guidelines. Yeah, so we thought that we cannot apply for it and qualify, and we knew that pre-K was like out of our league in this case, yeah, but it wasn't. So what happened is when we were dealing with the whole daycare fiasco, my sister-in-law, she was helping us look for a daycare around our area. So she asked what's our zip code and we gave her, and she was looking at like all the daycares around, and then she saw the school that's very next to us. Like it's
right across the street.
Yeah, if you're to walk, it's only 5 minutes walk or more. Maybe 10 minutes walk. But if you're to drive, between 3 to 5 minutes. So it's just very close to us. So she saw that, and she saw that they were actually introducing a new program for enrolling pre-K that are 3 years to 4 years, and they had an interview on a specific date where parents can go and they get to be interviewed and the kids get to be interviewed. And so she was like, you guys should go and try it. And so the requirements are you need to be a low income earner, 1, or 2, you need to have a bilingual child, child who does not speak English as their first language. And they will take that because they want to teach this child English, right? Make them American.
Not really make them American, but be able to have them speak English because like English is the primary language here.
Yeah. So Tracy, who is my sister-in-law, was like, you guys should go and try it. And we're like, okay. So we marked the date and we went with everything that we had, Mikey's vaccines, his passport, his birth certificate from Kenya. And we went for the interview and we got there and, they were asking the ages for like Mikey's age. We said he's 3 years and they gave us like a paper that has the, what do you call it?
Criteria. Yeah,
the criteria, but mostly on the income side, right?
Yeah.
That shows you what is the poverty guideline according to them.
Yeah, based off of that paper, we earned way too much.
Yeah. So, but it's also divided into like the number of households. So for a household of one person, a household of 2 people, a household of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they have the cutout in terms of income, right? So that one we were kicked out because my husband makes so much, and even if I was to put in my salary, it was maybe it would have qualified, right? I don't know. No, it was still high. Yeah. So even if we decided to put my salary, because every time we ask and you are asked, every time we are doing something, we always advise to put my salary because that, being the immigrant and everything, it's more considered. Then the second thing, they were like, does he speak English? And we said, yeah, he speaks 2 languages. And they said, okay. So we knew that is where even my sister, that's what she said, like, you guys go with the narrative of him not speaking English as his first language. And so that's the narrative we were trying to drive. So when the lady was interviewing saying, does he speak English? And said, his English is not his second language. English is not his first language, it's his second language. So they said, okay, we'll get the teacher who's supposed to do the interview for him to determine if you will qualify. So those were the 2 criteria. So already we had failed on the income criteria. And so now the second criteria, we have to wait for this lady to take Mikey and do an interview. So in my head, I thought they'll do the interview there when we are all there. But the teacher came and he was like, I need to take the baby away from you guys. So it's going to be a few minutes and you guys can sit and relax. I was like, there's no way I'm going to relax. Like, I don't even know what question you're asking. And because I really want him to, get in, So the teacher and Mikey went away and they said, 10 minutes?
Yeah, about 10 minutes.
Yeah. So they said 10 minutes. And I was like, okay. So within those 10 minutes, we were just there I even went to the bathroom. And after 10 minutes, they came back. The teacher came back with Mikey. And Mikey was like, Mommy! So the teacher was still trying to speak to Mikey in English. And, he was responding. But she was like, when she came, she was like, yeah, he does need, more coaching on English. And so he's gonna be in the class. So we were happy that at least he was accepted. We were happy that he was accepted into preschool. And so now we started asking all the questions. I had so many questions. I wanted to know every single thing. Like, I was asking questions back to back. But we ended up doing the registration. So I'm just gonna break down the information very quickly for someone probably who is coming into the country and they're wondering how the system works in terms of pre-K. Yeah. So in short, pre-K for 3 years and 4-year-olds is not across America. It's not in every state in America.
Yeah, you really have to check with the school that you're closest to. Then there's programs there that you can probably qualify if you apply. Like, all you gotta do is apply. That's it. Just Google it. You gotta Google. And key piece of information that you're gonna need is the county that you reside in.
The pre-K is not in every state for 3-year-olds to 4-year-olds. Like, it's not a guarantee for each school to have pre-K. So even in our school in this county, it's actually the first. They said this year is the second class, right? They started the program last year. Yeah, so it's pretty new. But luckily Mikey got in, and it's a blessing on our end, right? Yeah. So number one, pre-K for 3 to 4-year-olds is not in schools, in public schools, is not in every state, and it's not in every county. That's one. Number two, pre-K for public schools ends at 12 p.m. during the day. So they start at 8, or you can drop them at 7, but they close school at 12 noon. So if you're working, like myself, I'm working until 3 p.m., you see, it still doesn't help me per se, because then who's going to watch the baby between 12 and 3? Yeah. So that was the next question that I asked them. So if school ends at 12, what do you do for parents who work like a 9-to-5 job? And so that's when they said they have like after school programs that parents can allow their kids to participate in, and that goes all the way to 5:30. Yeah. And so now the pre-K for morning till noon is free, but now if you want it inclusive of
that after school program,
yes, you have to pay. Yeah. So we asked again, how much is it? How much are we paying for even after the school activities? And they said it's gonna be $300 per month. Now, guys, that's such a deal. That's such a deal, considering you're paying daycare $185 per week. Yeah. Getting the school to pay $300 per month is such a deal, because that has cut our cost in half. So that was another exciting thing to find out. And then the other thing is, of course, it's just like school, but it's more like they have teachers, they will do learning sessions, extracurricular activities, and what else? Snacks. Yeah. And I think I want to say games too. Like they'll entertain and teach the kids and feed them. Yeah. So food is inclusive of that $300. So like it's a deal, guys. It's a deal. You drop your child at 7, you pick them at 5:30, you go do your business, and the child is learning. Now, We have already experienced a bad daycare with Mikey being bullied and Mikey being picked on. So the other thing I was asking, this one I was not able to ask the teachers directly because I don't know how to frame that, but I was asking my husband, what happens when there's a child who is bullying Mikey in school, now that this is a school setup and not a private entity?
So the difference between school and a daycare is that the school is funded by the state, and there's more avenues for a parent to raise a concern, as well as I want to say more options for the school to pursue if a child is exhibiting kind of aggressive behavior. So let's say we're at the school, in the school somebody's picking on Mikey, the teacher will send that kid to the principal's office, and their parents will be called on the spot. Either to be told like, hey, your son or daughter is starting to be real aggressive, fighting, biting, what have you. If this continues, you're going to need to pick the kid up. Like, there's no room for negotiation there. The school's very serious about the kids' safety, in that it'll be up to that parent to teach the kids good habits and how to be social, be nice and have manners. And if not, then they're just going to tell you, look, we can't do this. Like, you're just going to have to take your kid somewhere else.
Yeah.
We're not going to do this.
Yeah. So, I mean, that gives me some comfort, knowing that at least there are more avenues in terms of, parents' concerns being addressed, and like the daycares where it's a private entity, and if you're not getting someone who is really into the children, then you end up having the whole fiasco that we had with Mikey's daycare, Mikey's first daycare. Yeah. But I mean, it is what it is. And then the other thing is now, pre-K, we were doing the interview when it's summer. So they do the enrollment and the interviews in summer, when the schools were almost closing, right?
Yeah.
So the schools will close and then they go for summer holidays, which is 3 months. And then now the school will start back up in August, after summer. So Mikey has been accepted to school. Mikey has been accepted in pre-K, yes, but he cannot start until school opens. So that's the trick part. So we're still kind of stuck with daycare for now, for like the months that lead up to August, when summer ends. So I don't know. We just have to get Mikey going into daycare for like the few months before summer, or the few months of summer, and then eventually once school starts, then he can join the school and will be good and will not have to deal with daycare. Yeah. So I think it's pretty good. I was happy that he was able to be accepted into the system based on him speaking Kiswahili. Kiswahili is the second language that's spoken in Kenya. We speak English and Kiswahili, and then now we have the ethnical languages as well, the mother tongues. Yeah. So him speaking Kiswahili in this case was a blessing. And so this is just out there for some. There's a lady I've seen who is on my comment section always telling me not to allow Mikey to speak Swahili, or I need to take Mikey to a school where they teach English, because him knowing English is gonna make his life better in America. And I'm like,
no, I won't. Lady, and I'm like, whoever you are, as somebody who speaks English and a little bit of Spanish, English doesn't help. Everybody speaks English here. Speaking another language, on the other hand, that makes you way more marketable. They want you. They could get anybody off the street that can speak English. But if you speak 2 languages, or 3, then you're gold.
Yeah.
You're made of gold.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I feel like she feels, or she thinks that she comes off to me as the people who think back in Africa, when your child is speaking English, they're learned, and when they're speaking Swahili or your mother tongue, they're not learned. There's that stereotype in Africa. I don't understand why. Me, I'm not one of them. I do not subscribe to that. In fact, I want Mikey to learn every single language he can grasp. he can learn. For sure, I know I want him to be speaking English. I want him to speak Swahili. I want him to speak Chinese. Chinese must be in those one of the languages that this boy knows. By force, by fire. You know,
I've seen French, Italian,
I've seen the power of languages. I know people who are making a kill.
Spanish.
I know people who are making a kill from languages. You know, and in this case, Mikey speaking Swahili has helped us. If Mikey knew the American English that this girl is talking about, we will not have been accepted into preschool.
Yeah, actually, I think Swahili is actually one of the 10 major languages spoken around the world, and most of them are European and English, whatever. But to speak Swahili, it's actually a plus. There's not a whole lot of people here that speak Swahili, obviously in the States. Especially in my company, they have jobs open where one of the requirements or one of the things they really look for is speaking a different language, and Swahili has been one that has popped up.
Oh, really?
Those ones, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they have facilities in just spread all across Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Swahili is very, very big in Africa. So, this girl, by the way, I think I'm almost blocking her because every single time I post a video, she must leave some nasty comments there about how we should parent and how we should, make Mikey speak English and all that. And let me tell you, by the way, Mikey understands English. Mikey understands English. You can communicate with him in English. Yeah. It's just that he speaks two languages. He speaks English and he speaks Swahili. And he was also learning my mother tongue. By the way, my auntie used to speak to him in my mother tongue, and he would understand,
Like, we encourage him to learn so that when we go back to Kenya and he's there and he's out and about, and he's a little older, of course, like, he'll be able to talk to the other kids, he can talk to the adults. Yeah. Like, of course they're going to know, he came from America, blah, 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 he speaks English, but when they start spitting Swahili, hey, now it's a different ballgame.
Yeah, so I was really, really happy that in this case Kiswahili won. Kiswahili to the world. Kiswahili got Mikey a spot in school. Guys, hey, let's clap for Kiswahili. Hey! Back in school or back in Kenya, we say Kiswahili kitukuzwe. Kiswahili kitukuzwe means Swahili be praised. Let Swahili be praised. Yes, Kiswahili got this guy into pre-K. Otherwise, so I was asking you, so what happens, like, if you earn too much, like we do, and then now your child does not even speak another language, they only speak English, that means you're out.
Yeah, you can't sign up for that program. You're going to have to wait. Until he's, what was it, 4? 5.
Because already we make too much, we were out. If Mikey spoke English as his first language and he didn't speak Swahili, would also be out. So what happens in this case? You have to deal with daycare. You have to deal with preschool in daycares, and not a public school or a formal school until the child is 5 years. So the other thing is, here they start school at 5. In Kenya, Mikey would have started school at 3 years. But here the system is different. They start the schooling at 5 years. So if you make too much and your child speaks only English, which is his first language, you're out for this program. This program is mostly just to empower mostly the less fortunate, right?
Yeah.
Because according to them, being bilingual and not speaking English as your first language comes off as, I don't know.
So they want to guarantee that kids who speak a different language other than English have the same opportunities as those who were born here speaking English as their primary language. It's extended to those who don't earn a certain amount. But just because you don't earn a certain amount doesn't mean your kid can't have the same opportunities,
Yeah. So it's a whole different system, but I'm glad that we are learning and we are adapting and we are adapting. The most important thing is now this boy goes to school and I don't have to worry about
daycares that don't care.
Oh, that rhymed. That's rhyming. Daycares that don't.
That's right, Papa Bear.
Daycares that don't don't do what?
They don't care. They don't watch your kid. They don't change them right. They let other kids pick on them. No. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
No.
So, guys, we're excited. We've already been given a list of all the supplies that you need to buy before school starts. So we'll get shopping, and we can't wait to show you Mikey's first day at pre-K.
Oh yeah!
I'm excited to see how that goes. I hope everything goes well, really, and we don't end up having so many issues like with the daycare, Yeah, so we'll see you guys when Mikey is going to his first day in pre-K or in school. Yeah, as always, remember to be kind to one another, love one another, and treasure every minute you spend with one another, because tomorrow is not promised. Ciao.
Later, Gator.